It is June 11th, 2025. Still reading this. We are on page 157. ZD decided to slam her hand on the button that summons the fucking immortal murderer that we were told before would kill everybody on the ship. And then we were told they probably wouldn't hurt anybody on the ship except Kai and ZD. And then we were told they would probably kill Kai and ZD and also Tenez, the little girl who was a slave on this ship, implied sex slave on this ship. And then why they would want to kill her as well was not explained. This was after Kai refused, for literally no reason at all, to let anybody off the ship before they summon the immortal person that will murder everybody because they're the fascists. They're the ones committing genocide. They are part of the fucking fantasy Nazis, and they're literally immortal. And the boat everybody is on was stolen from them and is sacred and is being desecrated by these people right here. So Kai said not letting anybody off for no reason at all, and knowing that the person will probably kill everybody. And then we get told they probably won't kill everybody, just Kai and ZD. And then we say, well, they probably will kill Tenez too, for some reason that's not explained. But then we're still not letting anybody off the ship, including Tenez, who is a child, an innocent fucking child, that Kai and ZD are supposed to care about, supposedly. That's where we're at. And now they summoned this immortal murderer person that could kill everybody on the ship, and ZD is just antagonizing her. And I think Martha Wells thinks that's funny. It's not, because you literally just... Are we supposed to like these characters? Because the only thing they've done so far is be mean to abused children who have been tortured and enslaved. And then they torture prisoners in front of these children. They're mean to these children some more. They're just fucking cruel to everybody around them. Kai is a fucking misogynist who plans to threaten a woman for no fucking reason because she's concerned about her friends who have been tortured and enslaved, that Kai is keeping tortured and enslaved. And it's like, and then he refuses to let anybody get off the boat before they summon an immortal murderous person. And then ZD just walks out without any warning and summons the immortal murderous person. And now the immortal murderous person is here, and ZD is just antagonizing her on purpose. And during all of this, we are still having the characters stand around on this forsaken boat that I don't think they're ever going to leave, and just talking about the plot instead of doing the fucking plot. The immortal murderous person hasn't murdered anybody yet. I think I would prefer that to happen, because that would at least be something besides standing around jabbering about nothing and about shit, just names and events and places and stuff that is just fucking thrown out of a hat and is just presented as though this is the fourth book in a series, a long-established, long-running series, that we were already present for all of these events in earlier books, because this is shittily fucking written. Let's get back to it. Page 156. Yeah, this is literally the line here at the top of page 156. With a patience designed to annoy, ZD said, "That would have been my next question, had I ever been given an answer to my first." She did answer your first question, which I only know what that first question is supposed to have been. Actually, I forget what the fucking question was, because this dialogue, this whole conversation, is nonsensical. It is absolute garbage. Actually, I think I will read it again and make you all suffer through it. This time I won't say their names. I'll just say the dialogue with a little pause between each different speaker. So you can see how terrible it is. It's so fucking bad, I am going to make a parody because it's so goddamn horrible. So this will just be the dialogue of the conversation that has happened with the immortal murderous person who was set up before to kill everybody on board, and then they're like, nope. Then Martha Wells tries to backtrack and say, no, won't kill everybody on board, just Ziti and Kai. And then she says, oh, but also Tenez too. Still not going to let anybody, including Tenez, off the ship, despite the fact that Tenez is supposed to be part of our found family because she's a kid that we're just checking off a list of fucking found family to capture and abuse. So far, it's literally just Kai and Ziti and the 2 children they are abusing. How did you get this ship? Actually, I'll just speak it in monotone. Or should I? Should I speak it in monotone, or should I say it in the tone of voice that they're supposed to be saying it in?
Apparently, the audiobook is just complete monotone.
Apparently, the audiobook is complete monotone, if you can't hear that past the cardboard. Okay, so I will speak it in the tone that they're supposed to be saying it. You can try to follow along and try to keep track of what the first question Ziti asks is by the time we get back to page 156. We're starting on page 154. More than halfway down. How did you get this ship? What? You aren't going to greet your marriage sister by name? Ziti Dayaha, what are you and that demon doing with this ship? 155. Since you ask so politely, we took it from the expositor Aclians. An expositor. Bring him to me. Impossible, sadly. He's being nibbled by crabs at the bottom of the sea. So you weren't the one who gave him this ship? Why do you say such a thing? What are you doing here? How does this concern the rising world? The expositor took my cadre and an imperial cohort prisoner and forcibly brought us aboard. That's how it concerns us. Why? He didn't discuss his motives with us. So many questions, like an innocent asking for instruction. You might answer one of my questions. Who is this Aclians? How did he get this ship? I've told you all we know. I look to you for answers, immortal blessed. A mortal, even an expositor, could not steal this ship. We don't think he did. That's why I asked if you had given it to him. Why would I do that? That would have been my next question, had I ever been given an answer to my first. Should I continue just reading the dialogue? Some of it will be brand new to me. Let's do that. You can all suffer along with me, and I'll be missing out on the little prose in between. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense, because then I'll be missing out. So that's it. That's that conversation. This is the conversation. That's the conversation so far. That would have been the last line there is Ziti saying, with a patience designed to annoy. Exact quote. With a patience designed to annoy, Ziti said, that would have been my next question, comma, had I ever been given an answer to my first. Can you tell me what Ziti's first question was in this conversation? Because I can't, even though I've read it 5 times now, 4 of those times out loud. Can you tell me what Ziti's first question was?
I'm pretty sure she asked, did you give blah blah the ship? Which is a stupid ass question because that question was answered.
Uh-huh.
That was indeed answered.
Yep.
And she says, why the fuck would I do that? Bring this stupid ass fucker out here.
Mm-hmm. And this whole conversation so far is literally just, once again, standing around, talking about the plot, doing shitty, useless interrogations, asking useless questions that don't need to be fucking asked, and pretending that this is the same thing as doing the plot when we're not doing anything. We're still stuck on this fucking boat. Now we're back on page 156, and I'll read the conversation that I haven't gotten to yet. And we'll see if it gets any more fucking sensical. Because it's nonsensical. Alright, these characters are useless, and Martha Wells is just a terrible writer. Immediately following that, I guess I'll just read the rest of this out loud, because I don't know how to summarize it. You guys will just have to suffer with me. Immediately following everything I just said out loud. Blah, blah, blah. Had I ever been given an answer to my first blah, 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 fucking blah. Sadrin graded out, I did not give anyone a sacred ship of the Well of Thosarin, let alone an expositor. She looked at the deck, her lips thinning in disgust. This ship's aura has been tainted. Did that abomination Kaisteron do something to it? Because remember, everybody, witches and demons are totally oppressed minorities. Because people say, you specifically should not be torturing people in front of children. That makes them oppressed minorities. Keep that in mind, because that's how Martha Wells is writing this. Hashem, having wrestled her own fury under enough control to regain the power of speech, said, out of nowhere, I told you, a Klein's captured an Imperial cohort. He used them for his foul purposes aboard this ship. If any immortal blessed had a hand in it, the rising world will not be pleased. The treaty is already at risk with... Ramad touched her arm, and Hashem stopped, her jaw tight. She had been about to reveal that Ta-Ren was missing, but fortunately, Sadrin was clearly not listening to her. This perspective is supposed to be mostly following Kai, and following Kai's observations, so why are we saying it's obvious what she was about to do? It's that... I meant to say this before but kept getting distracted. The narration itself, it's third person. It's very inconsistent third person. And not in a good way. It's a bad way. Bad. If
You might have to explain the difference between third person.
I don't want to have to explain the difference between third person close and third
limited is where the main character is referred to by name instead of I, and their pronouns instead of I.
I don't think you need to explain that part.
That's third person limited. It's third person is where the main character is it's referred to by their name and pronouns, and we're only following them and their thoughts. Third person omniscient is where all the characters are referred to by name and their pronouns instead of I or me or you, as occasionally happens, and we can hear multiple characters' thoughts. It's either or, 99% of the time for an actual good, consistent writer. Third person limited would be like, for lack of any other example off the top of my head, Harry Potter. You're not magically reading Ron or Hermione's minds at any point, only Harry's guesses about what's going in their heads.
I mean, but how long has it been since we read Harry Potter? That might not be true.
True. But I'm pretty sure that's third person limited. Because Harry doesn't know jack shit.
Same difference. They're just third person omniscient is God narrating. Knows everything. Knows what everybody's thinking. All that shit. Third person limited. We are only following the third person. Just imagine a little ghost. A singular little ghost. Who's able to read one person's mind. This story seems to be doing a whole bunch of shit. So it's clearly not meant to be third person omniscient. But it's also not doing third person limited properly. Because we'll just randomly get told shit that we shouldn't know. And then we're not told stuff that we should, and it's just bad. It's bad in a very technical, specific way I don't feel like having to explain. That would require literally going through it with a highlighter and nitpicking every single fucking thing apart. I'm just saying, it's bad. You can read it yourself and see what I'm talking about. And you can film yourself reading. At least just do an audio recording if you don't want to show your face. Do it. It's hilarious. But yeah, we're having a stupid conversation that's going nowhere and is accomplishing nothing, and then Hashem, who's really mad for some reason, just like, it's like, I told you, blah 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 blah, something about imperial bullshit. Also, I realized that Martha Wells is doing the thing that she's doing with the magic system. I have another thought. The thing with the magic system where she can't just say the word spell. No, witches need to have cantrips and whatever the fuck else witches are gonna do. And chimeras, one time so far, never brought up again. And I don't think we have a word for the shit demons do. And then the expositors have intentions and designs. And now she's doing that whole, you have this, and you have this, and this group has that. And now she's doing it for, like, these just groups, general groups of people. Because they keep saying, they keep calling the people from the Imperial whatever the fuck a cohort, and that's not a capital letter. It's not capitalized. It's just a regular word cohort. But it's being used like a proper noun, as though a cohort is a very specific established thing. Like, as soon as I am trying to think of an example of like some kind of military number of people, like a brigade. I have no fucking clue how many people are in a brigade, but a brigade is like a specific thing. I don't know how many people are in it. Look it up. Or don't. I don't care. Yeah. We're using the word cohort like it's a very specific proper noun, but it's not being capitalized like one, because we just keep saying the Imperial cohort, a cohort of the Imperial, the cohort, and then that's separate from whatever the fuck they were called. What are they called? I don't know what the fuck thing Hashem is from. The cohort is an Imperial thing, and then that's separate from the cadre, because that's also being used as though it's a proper noun, but it's not capitalized. And these are real words. It's not like she didn't just make shit up. She's just using real words in an unnecessary manner. So there's the Imperial cohort and the whatever the fuck these people are from, cadre. Are they a Rising World cadre? I don't fucking know. I have literally genuinely no fucking clue. It seems like the Rising World is supposed to be the good guys. Maybe. It doesn't, it's terribly written, so I can't tell you fucking more. I literally don't know. But, like, just the second thought I had before I won't forget that. I have my marker. I wrote it on my hand. I can't forget it now. Just the fact that she's doing it with the magic system. She is too good. She thinks she's too good. What she is pretentious. Martha Wells thinks she's too good to just use the word spell. So she has to pick a specific word. And in some cases, multiple specific words. Like, why? Alright, I could understand it if each magic system has its own type of spell and that's what they're all called. But why do expositors have intentions and designs? Why do they have two things? Everybody else just has one thing. We've only ever seen witches use cantrips. We're not calling it a third thing, as far as I know. But, like, and now she's just doing it with the groups. As though they're fucking, like, a pack of wolves or a murder of crows or something. It's like, it's weird and it's unnecessarily confusing, especially because they're not capitalized. And it's just so fucking confusing and unnecessary. And the second thought is, I've connected the dots. The meme. I've connected the fucking dots. But instead of, you didn't connect anything, I did fucking connect I did connect the thing. I realize with this, how very awkward it is that everybody's constantly being referred to as a mortal by Kai. And then I was like, that's really fucking weird and jarring. And then I'm like, that's a pattern with Martha Wells' writing. She always wants to have a word to describe the people in general who are not one of the protagonists or the protagonist, depending on the series. And here, it's mortals. That person is a mortal. You're scaring the mortals. Those are my mortals. Insert my immortal joke. Just kidding. That song's awesome. I meant the infamous fan fiction, which is named after an awesome song, and if you make fun of that song, I will kill you. So in this book, we call people mortals, disparagingly, to say that they're not as cool as Kai and Ziti, who I guess witches don't count as mortals, for some reason. Are witches immortal? We don't fucking know. We don't even know where witches come from. We don't even know what makes you a witch. Are they a specific fucking group who learned all the magic and taught it themselves? Are you just born with it at random? We don't fucking know. We don't fucking know, because Martha Wells is shit at writing and isn't doing any of the goddamn work of being a fucking author of original fiction. I'm trying to get to the point here. In the Murderbot Diaries, everybody who's not as cool as the protagonist is a human or a bot. Unless you are Art, who is special. Someday I'm gonna have to write a thing about her fucking unceasing ableism. Art is special because, unlike other bots, it can speak perfect, correct English. But in general, if you're not the protagonist, you are called a human in the Murderbot Diaries. Human is the category for the weak, incompetent people that need to be protected, and blah, blah, fuckity blah. In here, the mortals are the weaklings who need to be protected by their betters. In the books of the Raksura, everybody who's not a Raksura is a groundling who needs to be protected by their betters and also just thrown away if they're bigots. And by bigots, we mean exactly the shit that's going on here, where Hashem is 100% correct in saying, you should not be around children. You should not be allowed around children because you are torturing people in front of children who are already traumatized. And you are torturing people in front of them and teaching them to treat other people like less than animals. Ziti referred to the people that they tortured into unconsciousness as things when Sanja poked one of them with her shoe. They are teaching children to dehumanize people after torturing these people in front of the children. Now they have summoned an immortal murderer onto the ship, despite saying out of nowhere that one of the children would definitely be in mortal fucking peril from this person, but they're not gonna let her get off the ship or not let anybody else off the ship, and there's literally no fucking reason for it. And Martha Wells wants us to pretend that witches and demons are oppressed minorities because people are correctly pointing out that these two people cannot be fucking trusted around children. And if they are, as Martha Wells wants us to believe, a good example of the kind of morals that witches and demons have, then yes, you should not let children near witches and demons if they're going to do this shit. Now, if we met witches and demons who were also horrified, we will never do that though, who were also horrified by their behavior and treatment of these children that they are abusing, because they are fucking abusing these children, they'd probably be called pick-me's. Not in as many words, but that's what they would be portrayed as, because Martha Wells is indescribably bigoted in so many fucking ways. Let's try to continue reading. I'm gonna have to just read the rest of page 156 to you, like I was doing originally, because I can't describe this to you. Blah, we do the thing where whatever. continuing. Zedi smiled indulgently. As she says, Akline's created a power well with captured Rising World mortals. Possibly that's what you sense. Sadrin's face twisted in disgust. Where is the Fallen? Is she here? Is she a party to this? Kai had a bad feeling Sadrin was just as baffled as she seemed. More questions, Zedi said, folding her arms. Through her pearl, she admitted to Kai, so that means silently, only Kai and her are having this little conversation. She's not that good a liar. She isn't, Kai agreed silently. She doesn't know where Teren is. That's the end of that dialogue. It was unlikely Sadrin was the one who had given Akline's the ship. Period. If she had, she would have been trying to kill them already, not arguing in circles. It meant they might be able to trust Sadrin's answers, if they could get her to give them any. And then there's one more line on this page. Answer me! Is she here? Sadrin demanded. Because the last thing that was said out loud was Sadrin saying, Where is the Fallen? Is she here? Is she a party to this? And then they're just having the conversation with their telepathic heart walkie-talkies. So, the people we're supposed to like, who are purposefully antagonizing the immortal murder person, we were told was gonna kill everybody, especially Tenez for some reason. They're pretending that she hasn't answered a single one of her questions when she has. It's not like we're doing some kind of vampire fairy rules shit where they have to tell the truth. So to get around telling the truth, they dodge the question or anything. No, she did answer the fucking question. I have to go back. What fucking questions did they actually ask her? Question 1. Oh, you aren't going to greet your marriage sister by name is one question. Kai asked that. And then Immortal Lady was like, okay, fine. And immediately referred to Zedi by her full name. And then she asked what they were doing with the ship. And then Zedi, not answering the fucking question, said, since you asked so politely, we took it from the expositor Akline's. That's not answering the question of what they're doing with the ship. What they're doing with the ship is trying to find Zedi's wife and just in general sailing around for some fucking reason. And then Zedi asked, so you weren't the one who gave him this ship? Sadrin says, why would you say such a thing? Meaning no. And then she asked them, what are you doing here? Nobody answered that question, and it's just it's such bullshit. They're just we're just supposed to pretend that fully 2 pages, from page 154 to now page 156, and I have no doubt it will probably continue to page 158 and beyond. Just multiple pages of dialogue that's going nowhere and accomplishing nothing and is all but impossible to fucking follow. So now we're acting like the Immortal Lady is not answering any of their questions, when Zedi is literally, explicitly going out of her way to antagonize her on purpose, including sexually harassing her by saying that her asking them questions is like a virgin asking a more experienced person how to have sex, and this is supposed to be like a super condescending sick burn. And we're supposed to pretend that she's the one being unreasonable. Except she is being pretty reasonable for everything that we have been told about the Immortal Blessed, because from everything we were told and everything going on with this ship, we were told to expect her to literally slaughter everybody instantly the second anybody finds out that A, there are immortals on the ship at all, B, that they stole the ship, C, that they're getting blood on it, they're getting pus on it, they're just doing all this shit on their sacred temple boat, She is being eminently reasonable for somebody we were told was going to fucking kill everybody, including poor little Tenez, who has literally not done a single fucking thing to anyone. We're now on page 157. Again, we're just acting like this is a book that is the fourth one in a series. I'll just read the start of page 157. Ziti kept the sinking disappointment out of her expression, but Kai could hear it in her inner voice. She's speaking out loud. Are you telling us you don't know where she is? Sadrin ground out the words, I wouldn't have asked if I knew where she was. Ziti eyed her, then made her decision. She said, Taren has been taken by an enemy, possibly along with my marriage brother Dahin. I called on the right of kin of the blessed to ask if you have a way to find them. Sadrin's expression turned deeply annoyed. She demanded, Is this true? Even the fallen would not shirk her duty at this time. At least Sadrin wasn't pretending to be unaware of the upcoming coalition renewal and Taren's place in it. And then we don't know what that is. Because Martha Wells is shit at writing and is just writing this like it's fan fiction, and we've all already read the source material, or else writing it like it's the fourth book in a series that we've all read the three preceding books of. It's bad writing. I'm on Immortal Lady's side here. Ziti was derisive. Why would I lie about such a thing? And Immortal Lady says, I have no idea, but I'm sure there might be a reason. And it's like, considering all of the other shit these people have lied about, including Kai lying about needing to keep the people trapped in torture stasis to use them as hostages, yeah, I wouldn't trust a single fucking word out of these people's mouths either. Especially because, like... Do you need me to stop talking?
No, the wrong button.
Especially because it's clear that these people have some kind of history that we're never going to get to explore. So, like, she's seen even more of their shit than we have. So, after that line of, I have no idea, but I'm sure there might be a reason, we get, Ziti didn't take the bait. Like she wasn't literally the one actually literally baiting and purposefully antagonizing Immortal Lady this whole entire conversation from the moment it started. I know the rules of kin right. You cannot deprive Taren's dependents of her if you know where she is. I don't know where she is. Believe what you want. Sadrin tried to stare Ziti down, but Kai could have told her that was impossible. That's just funny in a really pathetic way, because it's, again, Martha Wells is trying to make these characters seem impressive and scary, and it's like, oh, Ziti can win any staring contest. Ziti has no personality except make edgy threats, purposefully antagonize people into killing everybody for no reason. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, this is, I don't even know what I know what she's trying to do. Martha Wells is trying to seem cool and clever. I understand. Ziti paused to let Sadrin think for a heartbeat that she might give up. Then she said, but you must know a way to find her. I've seen you do it before. Like, this is just empty fucking posturing. we are still, you may notice, still on this goddamn boat. Just standing around, talking about shit that doesn't matter. You could cut this entire conversation out of the book and nothing will have been accomplished because we have not accomplished a single thing besides antagonizing the immortal murder person. We're turning a page, everybody. We're on page 158. Now we get these stupid words. I'll just read just this. Conventiculum of the Immortals. I cannot find her, blah, blah, blah. But the Conventiculum of the Immortals at Stios has the Finding Stones. Conventiculum, capitalized. Immortals, capitalized. Stios, S-T-I-O-S, capitalized. Finding Stones, nope. What good fucking reason could Martha Wells have for using the word conventiculum? It's to be pretentious and be annoying and see how many fucking words she can shove into this from her thesaurus. And again, now still on page 158, we're just having ZD and Kai use their magical heart walkie-talkies to have a private conversation while this is all going on. Because A, Martha Wells is already shit at fucking conversations and dialogue. Just pick up any of her books. Pick up All Systems Red if you've got it. I forget what chapter it's in, but just go to All Systems Red. Go to the scene where they find out about the governor module. Read that scene. Read that scene and look at the dialogue. Read the dialogue carefully. Read it multiple times if you must. Look at the dialogue itself. You can just take it, open up a notepad, get a piece of paper if you want that. Just write out just the dialogue and just who's saying it. Just do that. You'll see. You'll see. It's so funny. I will have to make an entire video about just the dialogue in that scene. It's indescribable. Yeah, they're having a little heart walkie-talkie conversation because this dialogue is as though this dialogue isn't already terrible enough, and because Martha Wells doesn't want the characters to have to actually act in any way that's tactical at all. They don't have to pull each other to a side and have a whispered conversation that everybody can see them having. No, they just get to message each other with their heart walkie-talkies and interrupt the actual dialogue that's going on so that we get even less going on. And again, just treating this like this is the fourth book in a series, as though we are referencing events that we are all familiar with. Finding stones, ZD asked Kai silently. She means the finding stones that the hierarchs used to keep track of their pet immortal blessed? As though this is referencing like events from maybe the book 2. This could be, if this were the fourth book in a series, this whole thing here could be the whole plot of book 2 that we all already know and read. Kai responds, also with the heart walkie-talkie. Probably the Rising World would have handed them over during the treaty negotiations, as though the treaty negotiations was like the resolution to the end of book 2, and then other stuff happened in book 3 maybe, to explain why there's such a gap in knowledge here in book 4. But this was marketed as a standalone. So what's going on here? Nothing besides bad fucking writing. It's lazy writing. This is what happens when you try to write original fiction as though it is fan fiction. It's shit. And now we're getting maybe an explanation. The conventiculum, am I even reading that right? Hold on. Yeah, I am reading it right. The conventiculum was on an island in the harbor of Stios, and just for the fucking record, Stios, S-T-I-O-S, that has only ever been mentioned directly above this on this exact same page, on page 158. It's never been referenced before now. This is more shit that she is pulling out of a hat on the fucking instance as soon as it's required. No earlier than that. Just like Sanja's poor broken toes that didn't exist while she was walking after Kai, and then don't exist after she puts the fucking boots on. We just get told she had broken toes, so that, oh, the poor little kid is putting boots on, and it hurts because she has broken toes, and nope, never going back to that again. Throw it out. We don't need it. Her toes are Schrodinger's broken toes. Chekhov's broken toes. Sanja's broken toes. Sanja, her toes broken. When the author is such lazy fucking shit that they literally forget, despite having already involving magical healing, that they are so ableist and lazy that they invent broken toes for the sake of a single fucking sentence that they forget to have set up beforehand and then forget to do anything with afterward, despite making magical healing a thing. When you're so ableist and bad at writing that you say this child has broken toes, no setup, no conclusion, nothing. It's just gone. New fucking Temba, her arms wide, whatever the fucking thing is. I will fucking finish reading this paragraph, I swear to God. The conventiculum was on an island in the harbor of Stios, the city that had been the principal port of supply and travel for the hierarchs' summer halls. It had been a sea people city-state before the hierarchs took it. I have to interrupt again. Sea people, not capitalized. That's not a proper noun. It had been a sea people city-state before the hierarchs took it, and many of the inhabitants had been killed. It had fared better than Orentuck, since the hierarchs had moved in a new population to be the dock workers and shipwrights and sailors. It was a trading city now in the rising world, though not as populous as either of its past two incarnations. The wrecked hulks of the hierarch's ship still cluttered the water and made navigation into its port tricky. So I was correct, they are colonizers. The rising world people are, in fact, an evil fucking empire of colonizers. But we're supposed to agree with them for some fucking reason.
Because that's how the fascist shit works in Martha Wells books. Mm-hmm. Unless it's Murderbot.
The conventiculum, and they are colonizers. We're told this conventiculum, it's I guess that's the name of the entire island. The conventiculum was an island, so it's just the name of the whole island. And the current evil empire of colonizers, they clearly fucking are, just kept the name that the first genocidal colonizers gave it, instead of literally giving the fucking land back and using its actual fucking name. We will probably never get to know what this island's actual fucking name is to the people who were indigenous to there. And like she said, how many were killed? Many of the inhabitants had been killed. Nowhere close to all of them. Why are we still calling it by the colonizer's name? Why is the rising world stealing it? So many fucking questions. None will get answered. My eyes twitching. The conventiculum still belonged to the immortal blessed. Treaty agreements, oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ. The page 158 still, now below halfway point. The conventiculum still belonged to the immortal blessed. Treaty agreements had allowed them continued ownership of some of the places the hierarchs had given them. The Rising World Coalition had wanted them out of the war more than they wanted the territory returned. The people who had lived there before the hierarchs... I want to bite this book. I want to bite it and tear pieces out of this book.
Think of the parody.
The Rising World Coalition had wanted them out of the war. I want to bite this book. I will resist the urge, and I will resist the urge to crack its spine. We're just pausing the video because I'm about to start crying with rage.